Hey everyone, so I want to go over the report for January and then also talk about things that I'm seeing within analytics and then also next step, and I want to hear your thoughts as well. So we came in just under $400 for total spend for the month. We are going to keep ramping up the spend, but I want to go over this report and talk about what I'm seeing just to clarify the spending that we're doing and then try to make sure that we're making the best decisions going forward. So things that are good that I've been able to work on is lowering the cost per click. So when we started, cost per click in Google was 452. Working through lining up keywords, the ad copy, making it as compelling as possible, we're able to lower down the average cost per click to 295. So it's a savings of $1.57 per click. So that's good. Bing started off at $3. It averaged out to 245 for the rest of the month, savings of 55 cents per click. These are really good metrics. This is front end stuff that I can see. So these are things that I'm working to make the campaigns as efficient as possible, just from the data that I'm looking at. All right, so this is now where things get really confusing. So you might have to watch this a couple times, but I'm going to try to explain it. So we have a flow issue with the website. So the first thing that we're doing right is we're driving PPC traffic and we're lowering the cost per click. So that was the first two slides that I just went over. But when I look at Google Analytics, more than 80% of people bounce when they visit the website. So a bounce basically means they land on a web page and then they just click out. So they go back to Google or Bing, maybe they close down the web page. And then ultimately, since we're having so many people bounce, we're not driving people to the cart. But when I dug in deeper into analytics, this is where things start to get really confusing. So if I look at just analytics, it says that 83% or 84% of people who come from a paid search ad bounce, and some of them, like calendar magnets or calendar schedule magnets, is 90%, business card magnets, 100%, and the average session duration is 10 seconds. And I kept looking at that, and it doesn't make sense because there's a tracking problem. Um, and I found this out by looking at the user flow of the website. And this means that, again, these numbers, they don't exactly match up because Google Analytics has sometimes sampled data for these metrics, but 144 people came in through paid search and 134 dropped off. And I can see where they go to the next section. So some people went from car sign magnets up to custom magnets or candy. But it didn't make sense because no one apparently from paid search went to any individual products. But when I looked into analytics deeper, what happens is that with our site is that when you start to go through and you go to individual products, it then changes the landing page and it calls it a referral visit from promoplace.com. And that's why there's a broken link between what we're tracking in with paid search and then what's happening with the website. And this is now where things get really confusing because I can see that there's 146 page views or 133 unique page views that happened this month. People were looking at these individual pages on the website. And the tricky part is that I can see people spend a lot of time on these places. They spend a lot of time on the Economy Direct Mail postcard, the baseball sports schedule magnet, the words message magnet with square. And I can tell that they're interested in this. And the problem is that when you go through our site and you add things to the cart, the URL does not change, which is also why I'm getting misleading data because it's showing that people are interested in these products, but the URL does not change. So when we look at it from like a last perspective, it's no one's adding it to the cart, but in fact, I think people are adding these items to the cart. They're just not ultimately completing their journey. And that's really that's really interesting. I think we need to look at the on-site factors because they like the ad, they click on it. Google's rewarding us with a lower cost per click. When they come to our site, analytics then says that majority of people actually leave from paid search, but in reality, it's because when you drill into a specific item, analytics then says that person bounced from paid search. Now we're going to call it a new visit, which is a referral visit from promoplace.com, and then they're going through individual items, but the URL does not change because of the way Sage is set up. We just don't know where they are in the funnel. And I think this is really important to go after and talk about. Um, so again, this is just the data flow of products. I can see how people are now coming from promoplace.com and all the items they're going through, but I can't figure out where they are in their funnel, where they are in their purchase process. So this is something that we really need to look into a little bit harder. Um, so here are some examples. Popular items that people have drilled into, but there's not necessarily checking out as a cart transaction. And this is the part that I was mentioning before, where I can see within analytics, this URL does not change. So when you add to cart and you specify your quantity, and then you go to the next page and you specify the message and any logos you want on it, the URL does not change. And it's confusing because I don't know if it's this step or if it's that step that people are just ultimately not completing. So Trace and I spoke with Sage about this. We can't change the URL, so we're going to try to add something called event tracking to the add to cart button, so we can at least track that and see if people are actually clicking onto these and how far they're going. Because I'm having a really hard time understanding what's happening when people come to the website, because it looks promising, it's just no one's actually converting. Just switching topics just a little bit. These are our top state visits for the month. Um, our device breakdown. Majority of our users come from desktop. Okay, so this is something that I wanted to call out. So when I'm looking into auction insight reports and when I'm looking at just the competition in general, I'm wondering if we should either change up the ad message that's on Google and Bing to maybe call out a price. So I see for imprint says prices as low as 34 cents. BuildASign.com mentions there's a 20% off promo whenever or how you go to the website. And I bring these things up because I'm wondering if people are clicking on a few ad listings at once and then they're looking to see what really has the best deal. So I wanted to open this up as a discussion to say, um, what would make a lot of sense? We can add, we can add like a general promotion like Build a Sign does, but I didn't know if we wanted to test out for like an individual product or item on the website. There's still a lot of campaigns that are built that are just not launched because I wanted to get this issue fixed and talked about first. So, and we can discuss this after this video, but I want everyone to sort of think about, should we have it for a particular product, or it should be like a site-wide promotion? But this is kind of what I'm seeing within the competition. Another example, Vistaprint, custom magnets for just $11.24, so they call out the price. Another one is, again, calls out price. Here's another competition as well, so they call out price in their ad, and they have a save $50 on your order when you sign up for their email list. And it's making me think that a lot of our competition is offering something a little bit different from the 10% that we are. So that also could be part of the reason why people are clicking on our ad and then going deeper into our site, but then ultimately not converting. I think this is really important for us to discuss, so that's why I really wanted to talk about it in this video. And finally, again, I see Build a Sign everywhere. They keep talking about 20% off. I can see them within the auction inside. I can see them just in Google and Bing ads all the time. So something definitely just to make sure that we're keeping an eye on. So next steps. So I talked about this throughout the video. We really want to focus on the pages, the individual products that people are getting to, but they're ultimately not checking out within the cart. I think we should really talk about if we want some sort of different promotion item out there just to try to attract people to ultimately convert. And I also think that the message on the site needs to be potentially more clear. When I'm going through the site and I was using mobile device and I was using my laptop, I just want to. I'm wondering if people are not really noticing this 10% off, or if the 10% is just not as prominent for them. So I think it's really important for us to really focus on that aspect. In terms of advertising, I've built out a lot of campaigns already that I can launch within Google and Bing, which will obviously raise our costs, but I think it's important for us to address these on-page factors first, because if we've already seen from the first month that we're already struggling in terms of people completing a cart process, I think it's an on-site factor that we really need to talk about first before we then put in more money into Google and Bing to then track metrics like phone calls, contact us, form fills, cart completions, and also potentially email signups. So I know there's a lot in this video. I'm happy to go over this over a phone call. Just let me know. And thanks for watching.